Consider One Another is a podcast focused on each other. Thank you for tuning in to this podcast that is all about stirring up love and good works in one another. I'm sitting here on a Sunday afternoon with our newest members, Will and Lauren Bybee. They just fist bumped. Oh, we should have had that on camera. I just thought this was going to be like a guest appearance because they're not going to stay here forever, unfortunately. But they are our newest members. And I think that's awesome that you guys placed membership for this short amount of time that you're placed here in Bremerton. So thank you for being part of the work here and for giving up your Sunday afternoon to be here on the podcast.
Yeah, we're happy to be here.
Will told me that he's never been on a podcast before, so this is going on the resume.
Absolutely.
This is a big deal. Because you guys are our newest members, there's going to be a lot for us to learn today. So let's jump right into it by starting with Scripture. Will and Lauren, I'm just going to read Psalm 121. I'll just read the Scripture, and then you guys share any thoughts that you have. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Great.
Okay, Psalm 121. I will lift up my eyes to the hills. From whence comes my help? My help comes from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. He will not allow your foot to be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, he who keeps Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun shall not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve you from all evil. He shall preserve your soul. The Lord shall preserve your going out and your coming in from this time forth and even forevermore.
When we were reading this, kind of preparing for today, I don't want to call it a family motto, but just something that we say a lot in our life is life has a way of working out. And that's just kind of like a sentence that we live by during stressful times. Life has a way of working out. And I feel like to us, that's just such a simplified version of this scripture here, where the reason that life keeps working out is because God is with us. And it's just so comforting that, we're going through changes and going through like big decisions, but no matter what, God is with us. And it may not be the way that we vision it working out, but it also always turns out like this beautiful way.
I think family motto is a great word. It's a family motto.
I think it sounds much more, grandiose than it actually is. Family motto. It's just kind of a saying, maybe.
A saying, a motto.
Family motto makes you think it's on like a family crest or something.
Not yet.
That'd be way cooler.
Give us a decade, it might go crest.
I think the part that stands out for me specifically, from where does my help come? My help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. And it kind of makes, where one of them was discussing, like, we came here and Lauren didn't have a job yet, and we were kind of looking for like a hospital in the area, and we were like, it'll work out. And it kind of puts it in perspective, I guess. My help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth, and then we're stressing about finding a hospital. I don't know, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, that it's so small in comparison.
Look at the mountains.
Heaven and earth, and then we're looking for a job nearby. It's going to be okay.
Yes. I think it's a great motto, and it's great commentary, Will. Life has a way of working itself out. Sounds kind of flippant, or like you're just playing it by ear, but that's not it at all. But what you're going to put on the family crest is Psalm 121. Keep things in perspective. Like, look to the mountains. God made those. It's going to work out. It's totally going to work out. So we're totally tracking on the same page here. I'm really glad about that, because that was my exact same thought too. God will keep you in your coming and going. You guys have done a lot of coming and going into Bremerton, eventually out of Bremerton, into all sorts of other places you'll tell us about later. But life keeps having a way of working itself out, which isn't flippant when you root it in Scripture. It's not just hoping. It's God's in control. It'll be okay. And I do think there's so much work behind the scenes of God bringing you guys here. You guys have been so encouraging to us already. So,
yeah, likewise.
Oh, fantastic. I brought this verse out for that reason, but enough of me talking. How about you just tell me about what life looks like as traveling healthcare workers? Would that be the right title?
Yeah.
Generally?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
2 traveling healthcare workers, which is so cool. What does life look like? Whose idea was this? And where have you been so far?
Yeah, I guess what does life look like? Like the day-to-day life is kind of boring. It's essentially once you arrive and kind of set up where you are, it's essentially like working any other job. Like you get up, do your 9 to 5, or for Lauren, I guess 7 to 7.
7 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Night shift. So that doesn't look all too different. The more difficult part would be setting up the job. So like in December, we had some time off, and so we're looking at different locations that have physical therapy jobs for me, nursing jobs for Lauren, and then jobs obviously where those are nearby each other. And then once you sign a contract, it locks you in for 3 months or so, and you can extend, which is what we did. So we got here beginning of January through the end of May for mine.
It's like 5 months. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
Yep.
extended his.
Yes.
So that she could get her 3 months in.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because she's just starting a super fun job. Tell us
Yes.
about that.
I am night shift on a post-surgical ortho floor down in Puyallup.
Cool.
Night shift's not ideal, but again, that's the way God provided, so
It'll
It'll
work
work
out.
out.
it'll work out. Yeah,
There it is.
That's what God provided for us. So here we are, and it's interesting that like no matter how far away you get from home, patients are still patients. Like they still need that like compassion. They still need, all of that. So it doesn't matter where you are. People are people, and
Right. Whether it be
Right.
E-Town or
Right.
or Bremerton or Puyallup.
right,
Oh, nice.
Maine to Washington, coast to coast.
Okay,
Yeah.
so take me
Everyone
through
is.
that. Your first job, you said, was in Maine, as far as traveling healthcare goes.
We were in Colorado first and
First
all
was
of this was Will's idea.
Oh.
I am,
That is
For the
true.
record.
yeah,
That is
very
true.
much a creature that stays in my comfort zone. So he
I would like to add some.
Encouraged
I
us.
definitely do.
But it was still your idea.
It was my idea. And so Lauren grew up in the military. Her dad was in the military.
Of course.
And so she grew up overseas. She was actually born here in Washington, Fort Lewis, and then they went to Germany.
Oh, welcome back.
And then, and then to Fort Knox in Kentucky, which is where I met her. So she had the privilege of growing up in a few different locations. I was born and raised in Kentucky. So,
Believe it or not.
Yeah, believe it or not.
never further than 2 miles from I-65.
Yep, that is actually very true. And so, I learned kind of about travel, physical therapy, and the more I looked into it, I thought that was a good way to, because I love Kentucky, I want to be close to my friends, close to my family, but it would give us an opportunity. Before we settle down, have a family, you make a little more income as a traveling healthcare worker. So to me, at least looking on the outside in, and actually here at the end of a year or so now, I still think it has several wins.
Oh, yeah.
One being, you get to travel the country, live in places a little longer than you would typically, like on vacation. You're somewhere for a week versus 3 months here. You make a little more, so we can put that towards student loans, save up for a house and stuff, which is what we're doing currently. And I
You get to form relationships around America.
Yeah. Not just seeing America. but
Right. Form
you're in a
relationships.
place
Meeting
for-
other people named
Yeah.
Will.
and getting invited over and dominating in board games and stuff as we did.
Yes, the Wills had the
Yeah,
connection.
we just had we had the
with
connection.
See, I knew I
We were locked
locked
in.
Will and Will dominated.
So
But that's special.
yeah,
That's
no,
special to just be in Bremerton on a Tuesday night all of a sudden
Mm-hmm.
at strangers' homes. People you really shouldn't know, but for these 5 months, you do.
Yeah.
That's special.
And then, for instance, in Maine, we got invited, to people's, wedding celebrations and
Wow.
birthday parties. And so, I don't know, you get to kind of become not like a local, because we're not locals, but you get to live like one maybe for a few months. And I think that's really cool. It gives you an outside perspective coming from being born and raised in Kentucky. You can kind of see how people live in Washington and Maine and Colorado.
So those are the three.
Those
Yeah,
are the three.
those are
Colorado,
three.
Maine. Those are all really cool states.
Yeah, I think we kind of killed
That's
it.
why we're like wanting to end now, because I'm like, where do we go from here?
Yeah.
Like,
We're not gonna
top
beat
three?
this.
What are we doing?
Which one was your favorite?
I think Maine is
Yeah.
what we were talking about. Not
Where was it in Maine?
Washington. We were in Saco, Maine. It's about 30 minutes south of Portland, which is the big city in
Okay.
Maine. So we were right on the ocean. We had our rental home, I guess, was right on the beach. So our dog, Marshall, loved that.
Shout out Marshall.
Well, shout out Marshall. He had to make an appearance. I knew he would.
Yeah, he's here right now. He's really
But I got to say, Washington, you guys are giving it a run for the money. It did have 5 months. We've only been here like 2. So
Yeah, I suppose then the night shift isn't going to help Washington's case.
Well, I was night shift in Maine too.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
an even playing field.
Even
you got time.
Yeah.
Okay, it's possible. This is cool to me. The 3 wins: travel, income, people. That's so cool. And you guys have already done traveling like within Washington, like you did Mount Storm King.
we did.
Right?
Yeah, we did a few years ago. Yeah, so we came for a week.
Back in 2022, 23.
23.
Oh, so you kind of knew what you're getting yourselves into.
Sort of, yeah. So, but we came for a week and just, like kind of just staying long term. You get to
Really enjoy it.
yeah, kind of
And
immerse
plug
yourself
in.
a little more.
Yeah,
exactly.
plug in.
Yeah, you
Exactly.
said live like you live here.
Yeah.
And that's, again, why it's so cool that you placed membership. It'd be so easy to just say, we're going to survive these 3 months with the night shift and the 410s and just go home. But you've chosen to plug in. Because of that, like, we get to know you guys and you guys get to know us. That's cool to plug in wherever God happens to place you. So good on you for doing that. I'm sure we could talk about this for the whole entire time, but just detail for me the ins and outs of both being healthcare workers. That's cool because you're physical therapy. Is that right?
Yes.
And Lauren's a nurse.
Yes.
Okay. Do they have overlap where you guys relate and talk about work together, like personally, or does it kind of stay separate? Keep work
It's
at work?
kind of the perfect balance.
Oh,
Because I can come
perfect.
back and I can tell Will about my day and I can like use very technical terms and he understands exactly what I'm talking about. But at the end of the day, I can be like, well, this is how I felt about it. And he's like, well, I've never been in that situation specifically. So like...
He can't correct you.
I know
He can't
just
correct
enough
me, yeah.
about nursing to be dangerous.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he can, come home from work and be like, well, my patient had this injury and it was really stressful. And I'm like, you're right. Those injuries are really stressful to like
I know what you're talking
care
about.
for. Right. So it's, I feel like the perfect balance.
Yeah, we kind of speak the same language, at least we can kind of do the healthcare jargon and like understand, which is nice.
Without having to give details of everything.
Right.
I talk about the acronyms out here a lot because of the Navy, and like Navy folk will talk in acronyms to each other.
Yeah.
Like, what? Stop! What? And they have to explain everything to me. You guys, I'm sure, are speaking plenty of acronyms and codes and whatever, and you know what that means. So you have like a baseline
Right.
to be able to empathize, but you can't correct. Like, well, if
Right.
I was there, you weren't there. You're not a nurse. So it's a perfect balance. Do you ever like get jealous of the other one? Of like, oh, I wish I would have been that, or you're both happy
Never.
in your.
Never.
Never.
We've actually
Not
had
once.
conversations to where like the worst part of his day is like the patient care items, which is like I love patient care.
You're a nurse, yeah.
I'm a nurse. And then I tell him, I'm like, the worst part of my day is moving my patients. I hate that. And he's like, that's my entire day. Like,
And you
all
like
it does
that.
is-
Well, yeah. Well, sometimes she one-ups me. I'll come home and I'll be like, man, Lauren, I had the longest day. Like, I had a bunch of patients. Some of them, a little more, like, less mobile. So maybe I have to do some, like, assist to get them up and over. And she's like, yeah, my patient punched me today. And I'm like, all right, you know what? My day wasn't all that bad.
Right.
You win. Got
You
that.
win this one. Okay. You can have that. So it's the perfect balance. Relating to each other while having unique experiences, being happy in your lanes. You
Yes.
do your thing.
Absolutely.
I'll do mine. I mentioned today just time that I had spent in a hospital as a kid. So healthcare workers are very near and dear to my heart, especially nurses, because like the night shift or the day shift would switch at 7, and like you just be hoping for a good nurse. That would change the next 12 hours of my life depending on who was taking care of me. So the healthcare work is such a servant heart. And I've spent plenty of times with physical therapists as well, who helped me and changed who I am. So thank you for the work that you're doing, and I think it's great you're doing it in such a cool way, going all over the country. With as busy as you both are, you still make time to be here, which is crazy, and I thank you guys so much for that. It does not go unnoticed. But because of your traveling and attending different churches all over the country, you have a really unique perspective to this question. So from your perspective, what small things or big things, what can congregations do to welcome visitors? Whether it's visitors like yourselves or visitors in the area, what can churches do to welcome visitors?
I know our first week, I was just like in awe and shocked when they made the announcements of how many opportunities there were for the people of the congregation to get together and like build those relationships outside of just the service hours. And I feel like every single week there's opportunities to like develop those relationships, which like to me it shows that you guys not only worship together, but you actually enjoy being around each other.
Want to be together.
Want to be together,
Yeah.
Which I think is incredible, and I think says a lot about the
Yeah.
people here that they want to be together.
Yeah, thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
They want to be together.
Yeah.
And so that was noticeable.
It was very noticeable, and it was wonderful to hear.
Okay.
And we were immediately invited to so many of those activities,
Yes.
which was incredibly
I
encouraging.
think I've told a couple of people, but I don't think we ate lunch alone on Sunday afternoon for the first month or so, which is awesome. So our very first day, some people approached us and asked us for lunch, and then the next Sunday and the next Sunday, which is fantastic. So that has not happened before. So good on you guys.
Hey, good on us. 1 point, Bremerton. I didn't want to make it a softball question to compliment us and make us feel good, but I'm glad that stood out. Hopefully you guys do feel like you can say no to that and say, hey, we're going to go see this cool thing. I think you did Leavenworth last week, maybe.
We did, a couple weekends ago.
Okay. So you had to eat lunch by yourselves, unfortunately. But you got to go see things. Feel free to tell us no to things, but just the opportunity is cool. I want to, I can go to Tim's house right after this and be with more people again. Not that you have to or else, but it's cool that it's available. So we got people who want to be plugged in and people who want to plug them in. I'm glad that has worked well for you guys. That brings us to the question I'm most excited about. Because, I love, obviously. So rewind just a little bit, maybe a lot of it, I don't know. Can you just share the story? Share the story of how you two met and then eventually got married. Just take us through that as much detail as you're willing to provide. Tell us about Will and Lauren.
So, as he mentioned before, I moved to Kentucky from Germany. A little bit of a culture shock because I was 8 years old. I've been in Germany for most of the life I could remember.
Wow.
And he was actually the first person I met in America. We were in Bible class together back home.
In Kentucky. Elizabethtown.
E-Town.
Yes,
E-Town.
is what we're referencing.
E-Town.
I can't believe Randy said that. He said it today.
That's funny.
Obviously. Sorry.
I was impressed you remembered. Yeah.
Well, it was my fault because in our meeting I wasn't even thinking, and I referenced it as E-Town. He was like, "I'm sorry, what is that?"
You don't
and I
know
was
E-Town?
like, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
E-Town.
You never heard of
Big city.
I'm so sorry.
So now everyone else knows too.
Yeah.
E-Town,
It is
Elizabethtown.
Spreading the word.
Yeah, now we all know. Okay, so you're there, Elizabethtown, Church of Christ.
Right.
You guys meet in Bible class.
Yes.
8 years old?
I was 8. He was 7.
I was 7.
Yeah. We were young bucks.
Yeah. So rewind a lot of it.
That's
Yeah.
this is gonna take a while.
Okay,
I don't know.
perfect.
We'll do the short cliff notes.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
starts
we were
at 8.
just kind of existing together until
we're friends.
not until middle school, high school.
Right, I was way
Yeah,
cooler than
you didn't talk to girls in
I
elementary
was
school.
way
Come
cooler
on
than
now.
Guys, don't fight.
And then I would say high school, we became really good friends until he worked up the nerve to ask me out. And then we've been...
That did take a year.
Yeah.
My bad.
Like a year of liking.
It took a year. I think
Yeah.
we have some friends that they made fun of us.
Sure.
I think was it every day for a year
Yeah.
that we texted
Yeah.
or something.
We were
and
young.
we're not dating.
Yes. No, that follows a classic mold of just
The youth group couple.
the youth group couple.
Yeah,
That's
that's
you guys.
for sure.
Yeah, from 8 years old, middle school to high school, only took them almost 10 years to ask her out.
Yeah.
Were we both 17 or was I 6?
We were both 17.
Okay. Yeah, and so I was a junior in high school and Lauren was a senior. And so I asked her out right after prom. Not before prom.
I think he
Planned
did
it.
that on purpose.
Clutch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. I don't have to deal with that.
But Lauren did come to my prom, so it was okay.
Yeah.
It worked out.
It's good mine, but it's
Went to a prom. And we dated through college. We did the long distance thing. Lauren went to Freed Hardeman University, which was closer to Memphis, so probably 4 hours,
About 4 hours
from E-Town.
Is that Elizabethtown?
Yeah,
Okay.
Elizabethtown, by the way. And I went to Western Kentucky University. Go
Tops
Hilltoppers.
on top,
Tops
yeah.
on top. Yeah. That was
Delete
about
that part. Delete that part.
cut that. That was about an hour away. So Nashville was sort of halfway. 2 hours for you, an hour for me.
Yeah.
So I think what would we do once a month or once a semester?
Once a month, just hang out in Nashville for
We
a
would
day.
meet in Nashville.
Okay, cool.
So.
It's a cool place to hang out.
It's a
place.
great place.
Yeah.
It's gotten huge since we started going there.
A lot of people in Nashville.
Is this what we're talking about? 2018?
So
17,
I
18, yeah.
Okay.
I was 2016 to 2020
Yeah.
was my 4 years in college, and Lauren was 15 to 19 or so. But
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a year ahead of him. And
yeah. Was it 2018 when I proposed?
yeah, it was.
Say that confidently.
It was 2018?
New Year's Eve 2018, so barely 2018.
Mm-hmm.
New Year's Eve 2018 or New Year's Day?
That's what gets me.
End of the year 2018.
End of the year
New Year's
2018.
New Year's
End of the
Eve.
year 18. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
So,
That
and
is
then we
I proposed.
got married during COVID.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're engaged in 2019.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the year of engagement. Oh, well, we'll plan a 2020 wedding.
Yeah.
That'll be
Yeah,
perfect.
it'll be
Easy to
perfect.
remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Famous
no.
famous last word.
Famous last words.
It was May. I can remember our planned wedding. May 23rd, 2020 was our planned wedding date.
It's like the due date.
And then I don't remember our actual wedding date. May
Yeah.
9th?
I have to look in our calendar.
Because we had May 23rd. We were locked in
For
like
18 months.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, no, that makes sense. I don't
And
fault
then
you for that.
the beginning of the week, I think it's May 9th. So like a couple days
She doesn't
before,
know.
a couple days before May 9th,
It's in our calendar.
I texted him and I was like, I'm tired of quarantining by myself. Do you want to get married on Friday? And so we got married like a couple days later. Canceled our wedding.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay, first of all, that's awesome. Second of all, you said get married on Friday. What day did you text him that?
Monday or
Monday.
Tuesday, yeah.
Well, you had COVID, right? Weren't you quarantined?
No, I was just quarantined for it. I didn't have it.
Like you're around someone who might have
Right.
had it.
I
It was
a
like
nurse.
early COVID,
Yeah, I was
so-
a nurse in early COVID.
They would do
Oh.
like the 2-week paid.
Yeah.
Go home and don't be around anybody, which they don't do at all anymore. It's
Yeah.
But at the height of COVID, you kind of had to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have to pay this person. Oh, that's fun. So then you said, okay, this is not the best. It's not
Yeah.
good for a woman to be alone. Like, let's just get married. Let's
pretty
get
much.
married.
Pretty much, yeah. Because we had all our venue had reached out and been like, it's not happening. Our caterers had been like, not happening. Nothing was gonna happen.
But you
essentially,
were
on May
sticking
23rd.
with the date.
Yeah, and
For
so
the time being.
yes. And then we were like, well, if we're gonna be doing like a backyard wedding anyway, why are we sticking to May 23rd? So we bumped it up by 2 weeks.
And then did what? Family, backyard.
Yes.
My
McDonald's.
sister-in-law weirdly her family has like they call it the barn. It's like just a venue that the family uses.
Very cool.
And so
This is
she,
probably the most Kentucky.
yeah,
I'm about to say, you said this was in
You got
Kentucky?
it.
A barn?
yeah. So my sister-in-law
It's
is
got, like,
absolutely
the-
wonderful. She's a blessing among us. And so she heard that we were gonna have backyard wedding, and she's like, no, you're having a real wedding. So she
It's like a really
found
pretty piece of
flowers,
property.
found a property.
It's got like rolling
found
hills
food,
and
yeah.
fountains and trees and flowers and all that. So it's really pretty. It's
From
a
Monday to
long way.
Friday, this all happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she put in work.
That is awesome. Yeah, a
Yeah.
blessing indeed. So then you guys feel like you got a real wedding-ish, kind of?
Yeah, I mean, a year later we
Yeah.
had a reception to get the pretty pictures and the pretty dress.
Yes,
Okay.
we had our deposit. Actually, we were already paid. So we reached out to the place, and they were like, "We can do April 2021." So we had 300 people invited. We cut that down to like 100,
Okay.
Yeah.
and then
Yeah, ones that
yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
And then we had it again, mild Kentucky home.
Very Kentucky.
Very Kentucky. That was our venue. And yes, we had a real reception April 2021, where we had like kind of a renewal of our vows, I guess,
Yeah.
technically, but more just like the reception, like the cake and the food and our friends and
The
yeah,
pretty
the
dresses,
ceremony.
the good pictures,
yeah.
The pictures.
yes. So yes, we do feel like we got a real wedding, but it took a little bit there for a little.
A lot of tears, got there eventually.
Yeah. So
It's hard.
Yeah.
like we talked about at the beginning, I think that's one of the big things that
That's
stands
when
out
it-
where we started, where it's like it'll all work out probably, because at the end of the day,
God has a way of working things out.
did we
Yeah.
have it kind of shows you, do you need a 300 person wedding with catered food and a cake, or do you need 10 of your closest family members in a field?
Right.
Your preacher grandfather, which was
And
really
my granddad
convenient.
married us, which
Yeah.
was very nice.
Oh, that's sweet.
Convenient preacher in the family. to
The
get us
things,
married.
the things that needed to be there were there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, someone to tie the knot, two people who love each other.
And at the end of the day, we were married. So
Yes.
not how we pictured it, but
No,
Life has a way of working out.
it worked out, and it makes me happy that you're looking back on this very fondly. It
Oh,
seems.
absolutely.
yeah.
It's gonna
Absolutely.
be like a horror story because some people like to say that, especially people who graduated in 2020. Like they love to
Yeah.
bring up like I didn't get a graduation. Like you could say I didn't get a wedding, but you guys like so chill about it. It's such a cool story.
It's the arbor is still an inside joke.
Yeah.
Is-
Oh.
we can talk for that.
You don't have to, but you can.
He tried to build an arbor the day of our wedding.
No, it was
Or
the day
our
before.
reception.
It was the day before.
Yeah.
Lauren had an idea that behind us would be a very nice copper. She got it on Etsy, Instagram,
And Pinterest. Come on.
Pinterest.
Keep your social
What-
medias.
It
What
was
are
like
those
a
girl
copper
apps?
arbor. And I have my friend group and family has several engineers So my dad is an engineer, my brother's an engineer.
Cool.
2 of my groomsmen were engineers. So we were like, we can build this arbor. Like, we got this. You know, we're all college educated. So I think it ended up getting tossed in a bush somewhere. So we essentially tried to construct.
She said day of.
Yeah.
It got tossed day of.
Yeah.
Oh, you were working on it before.
Yeah, I bought the parts the day before, and we constructed it off-site, and we were like, this looks okay.
Oh.
And then I think we tried to construct it on-site the next day, and it looked terrible. It was so bad.
It took 5 engineers.
But genuinely, I was going to say, my groomsmen, what did they spend, an hour on that thing?
Probably.
At least, before we made the executive decision that it has to go in a bush.
Yeah, there's an analogy in there somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know where, but the arbor, it's a good inside joke. Ditch that thing. Yeah,
It's gone.
It's gone. But
Quit wasting your time on the arbor. It's fine.
even without the arbor, it happened. You made it. There's so much here because that's like we're looking at 20 years, right? That you guys have known each other.
Yeah, 20 years. Yep,
That's
22 now. So yeah.
wow. Okay, that's so cool, and it's like a high school sweethearts, but it's like Bible class sweethearts too. Whatever the youth group phrase is, that's really cool that you guys made it through all of that, even through COVID, and chose each other. I got nervous when Will didn't remember his anniversary, but
It's okay, Lauren doesn't either.
neither of you did, so that was a sigh of relief. They said it's in the calendar. Like, that's how me and my wife make like dentist appointments. It's in the calendar.
Yeah, our dentist appointments are in there too, but we also have our wedding date.
He knows May 23rd, 2020 so well. You got to give him you got to give a pass.
Yeah. So do you celebrate that like as an anniversary?
No.
No. Goes to May 9th or 8th or something like that.
Whatever weekend in May works.
The story I'm sure has more details, but you painted a really good picture for us through that time. And now you're traveling the country together. I'm sure making it through long distance wasn't easy either, both in difficult schooling programs, I'm sure. That's stressful. And it's easy to maybe choose your own schooling over being with this other person too. But you made it. And now you've been married 3 years then.
6.
6 years. Hold
6
on.
years.
Why did I... So you've been married 6 years then, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, 6 years. Very cool. Oh,
But like,
I was married in 2023. That's how I got confused. So sorry. You've been married 6 years. Sorry. Keep talking.
with the like separate schools and the long distance, it like wasn't fun at the time. But
Sure.
I feel like both of us feel, like I've said earlier, I'm a comfort creature. I will stay in my comfort zone. So both of us being like away from each other, I feel like we got to grow as people and Christians because we were like independently in these different programs and got to meet different people and then still choose each other, but got to become a little bit more independent with it.
That's very well put.
Yeah, and college is kind of the time I think like you kind of transition from being like a kid who lives with your parents to like your own independent adult. And not that, I think obviously we love each other very much, but I think it's good sometimes to do that, kind of find out who you are on your own without becoming maybe codependent. I don't know if that's the word I want to use.
No, it is.
But, if you go through, you leave from your parents' house and then you just find another person to kind of use as a support versus kind of doing it on your own, I guess.
Who had already known you for 20 years.
Exactly, yeah. It would be very easy, I guess, if we'd gone to the same school or something like that to just spend all of our time together. Maybe is a better way to phrase it than codependent.
No, I know what you mean.
But, yeah, you kind of figure out who you are. There's nobody really holding you accountable. Do I go to church this morning because I want to or because my girlfriend is? Or, so I think things like that, in hindsight, looking back, I think it's probably a good thing we did the long distance
For the
relationship, even though it was not
Mm-hmm.
ideal at the time. But
Yeah, because it can be easy to choose someone because it's easy. Like, I don't know, like we just knew each other since we were 7, then went to school together, and then we graduated, so we got married. And like it was just easy the whole time. And then hard things happen, like the season of life you're in right now, and you think, oh, why did I choose this person?
Yeah.
Like you already know that. Yeah. Like, no, I know what I'm like by myself. I'm better with this person.
yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Good for you. Like you guys chose each other, and that makes me happy to see. We made it to the favorites section. Okay, so the way this works is really up to you guys. Okay, however you'd like to. We usually go through a verse in the Bible or a hymn that we sing. It's no pressure. However, it can be individually. It can be as a couple. But a verse in the Bible, a song that we sing, if you want to share that, now's the time.
We were talking, and my personal favorite verse is Deuteronomy 31:6, which I thought was crazy connected to the verse, or to the Psalm 121.
Psalm 121. Oh.
I feel like it shows a lot of the same message.
31.
So
Deuteronomy 31:6. Okay,
yes.
I'm there. Go ahead.
It is, be strong and courageous, do not fear or be in dread of them, for it is the Lord thy God with you who goes with you. So I just felt like that sounded a lot like Psalm 121.
It does.
And then the song that we were discussing is our favorite, Just As I Am, but the new version with the bridge, the I Come Broken.
The I Come Broken, yes.
Incredible, beautiful.
Incredible. No
Brought
notes.
me to tears the first time I heard it.
Oh, just as I am, I come broken. I do know the distinction you're talking about. And theologically, there is some significance. Like, we're not just coming to God being like, like this is me.
Mm-hmm.
Say, I come broken to be mended. That's a great pick. Okay, so you can kind of agree on that.
Mm-hmm.
We got our family motto, our family verse, our family song. Deuteronomy 31:6, that's a great poll. He will not leave you nor forsake you. Like, he goes with you, which is almost verbatim what we saw in Psalm 121. Right. He's going with you to Maine or Colorado or Washington. Like, he's going to work it out. He's not going to leave you. Right. Different circumstances, long distance, COVID, travel nursing, you've got this constant. That's how God keeps working things out. He's with you. Very connected.
If you ever see my Bible, it's actually the verse that's painted on my Bible. It's Deuteronomy 31:6.
Purposefully, like that's why you chose that Bible?
Yeah, a friend of mine made it for me, and she said, give me your favorite verse.
Oh.
So that's what's painted on my Bible if you ever see it.
Oh, that is awesome. Okay, great. So, dress like your Bible Day. Lauren's coming as Deuteronomy 31:6. Be strong and have good courage. Do not fear nor be afraid. He will never leave you nor forsake you. I like leaving it right there with Scripture. I hope you can hear just the joy in my voice. This has just felt like having Will and Lauren over for dinner or playing games with them. Like, just talking with them has been fun. It's been fun and really easy. I know the podcast thing can seem, I don't know, just a little bit nerve-wracking. Maybe you can give a shout out to anyone else who might be asked to do this later. Easy and fun?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just conversation.
Just conversation. Okay, just like I said. Okay, now we can leave it right there with Scripture. Will and Lauren, thank you guys so much for plugging in here. And wherever you guys end up after this, we hope that you stay in touch. And for now, thank you for your time this afternoon, for being vulnerable with us and letting us consider you.
Thank you for having us, not just on the podcast, but just in general at Bremerton Church of Christ.
Yes, we love y'all. The Bible tells us to consider one another in order to stir up love and good works in each other. So thank you for stirring up love and good works in me just by listening to this episode.
I feel like we yapped about our relationship for a long time. So
it wasn't that long.
Okay.
Feel free to
feel free to cut out whatever you want to cut out.
When the podcast is 5 minutes when it comes out.
Yeah.